Hello children, welcome to our English class. So in our previous class we have learnt about Helen Keller's teacher, that is Miss Sullivan. Now we are going to learn the grammar part of it. Before we go to the grammar part of the first lesson, we have a small listening exercise. Now my dear students, please, pronunciation of this word is wrongly done by many people. Many people say listening, listening, listen here. No, that's a mistake. It's not listen, it is listen. What is that? Listen. So listening. Now see, on page number 12 we have a listening exercise. Now you can see a picture here. With the instructions that I give you, with the directions I give you, you have to fill in this picture. Okay? Are you ready? Please keep a pencil handy. Okay? Now, see, listening is the key to learning. The more you listen, the more you learn. So, when you are listening, you need to pay a lot of attention. Be focused. See that you are not disturbed by the sounds that you hear. You hear a lot of sounds, but listen to only mine. You understood the difference between hearing and listening? Listen itself is focused hearing. Many sounds, I can hear many sounds, but if I focus on one particular sound, then I am listening to that. So I too want every one of you to focus your complete energy and your complete senses towards listening to me. Okay? Now, let me read it, sir. First instruction. Whatever I tell you, you have to do that. Okay? There are many fish in the river. Very good. Now, one thing that you might have observed, I didn't say many fishes. That's not, see, there is no plural fishes, whether it be one fish, fish. Even if there are many fish, we call it only fish, we don't say fishes. Instead we can say school of fish. If there are many fish, we can say school of fish. But as this is a listening exercise, I don't want to go deeper into that subject. Please follow my instructions and fill in the picture. There are many fish in the river. Finished? Second, there is a tree behind the hut. What do you see in the picture? A hut. There is a tree behind the hut. The sun is shining in the sky. 4 birds are flying in the sky. There is a boat near the bank of the river. I gave you 5 instructions. I'm not going to repeat them because this is a listening practice exercise. Okay? So, I hope you have followed my instructions well and completed the picture. But as this is our first exercise, let us try to recollect. Okay? Let us try to recollect. What was the first thing I told? When we see the picture, what is the first thing? See, recalling. Now, listening and retention. Now we are trying to know how much have we retained. See, pictorially, when you see this river, our first instruction should come to mind. There are a lot of fish. There are many fish. Okay, there are many fish in the river. That was my first instruction. There is a tree behind the hut. That was my second instruction. The sun is shining in the sky. That's my third instruction. There are 4 birds flying in the sky. And what's the last one? There is a boat near the bank of the river. See, could I retain all the 5 instructions or not? And I am sure most of you also might have retained all the 5 instructions. These kind of exercises not only develop our listening but also our memory. Now, shall we move on to the next one? What is the next task now? After listening, the next task is speaking. So I am really happy that we are given a very good expression to convey our inability. Sir, always remember, we can convey our ability and inability to do work. What are the verbs we use? The verbs that we use to convey our ability or inability are called modal verbs in English. What do we call them? Right, modal verbs. So here, sir, sometimes we need to tell people ask for help, or people give us some instructions, people expect us to do something. But whenever we can't follow the instructions of people, or whenever we can't do what somebody has told us to do, then how can we express our inability? We can express in our inability in whatever way we like. But my dear children, the 21st century is going to be the future of those people who are good at communication. And to be good at communication, what you tell is not important. How you tell is important. What you speak is not important. How you speak is important. So, see, when we are saying no to somebody, they will definitely feel bad. So, we have to convey our inability to do something in such a polite way that they don't get hurt. And to do so, what can we say, sir? First, we can say, I am sorry. See, I am sorry, but then what's the next step? I am afraid. I am afraid. Then third one, forgive me, but. So if you can't see what I am writing on the board, you can still find it in the textbook. Forgive me, but. So this is how we can express our inability to do things. Now see, immediately we have an exercise here. Find out ways of expressing regret. What is the meaning of regret? Feeling sorry for not doing something is called regret. Did you all catch it? What is regret? Feeling sorry for not doing something is called regret. So, find out ways of expressing regret that you cannot do, did not do, or have not done what someone asks. Think of your own excuses. What are we making, sir? We are making excuses. When we can't do something that was told to us, what do? We do excuses. Now, shall we make excuses? First one, have you read the book I lent you? Now, I am asking you a question. Have you read the book I have lent you? Have you read the book I lent you? Now, this question can be answered either with a yes or no. My dear children, please remember there are two types of interrogatives. Now, you may be wondering, sir, what is an interrogative? Very simple. Interrogative sentence is a sentence that is a question. A sentence which is in the form of a question is called interrogative sentence. My dear students and children, have you observed in our day-to-day communication, whatever is the language, whether it be our mother tongue or English or Hindi, or to that matter any other language, when we communicate with people, what do? Most of the time, either we ask questions or we answer the questions. Am I right? Yes. Please observe all your day long communication. What do? We either ask questions or we answer the questions. Now, what do you call the sentences which are used to ask questions? The sentences that are used to ask questions are called interrogative sentences. How many types of interrogative sentences are there? Two types of interrogative sentences are there. One is yes or no interrogative, and the second one is WH interrogative. Yes or no interrogative, WH interrogative. A A question that can be answered either with a yes or with a no is called yes-no interrogative. A question that needs a descriptive answer. For example, did you brush your teeth? Yes. Did you drink a cup of milk? Yes. How did you like the milk? Now I can't say yes or no. Oh, the milk was lukewarm. My mom mixed some turmeric into that. I could sense the aroma of cloves in the milk. It was very delicious. Now, what is this? This is description. What was the question? How did you like the milk? Now, this question which needs a descriptive answer is called as a WH questions. What, why, when, where, how. Okay, those are all descriptive questions. Yes, no. Now look at this sentence. Have you read the book I lent you? Either you can answer yes or no. But what is the question here? We should express regret. We did not do it. When do we regret? We don't regret usually for things we do, but we regret for the things we haven't done yet. So now I am asking you, have you? Sir, all yes no questions begin with helping verbs. What is the helping verb here? Have. What's the helping verb here? Have. Okay. So, have you read the book I lent you? Now, what shall we use? I'm sorry, I'm afraid, forgive me. Your choice. I'm sorry, but what is the sentence beginning with? The question is beginning with have you read? So, in the answer, what should we write, sir? I'm sorry, but I haven't read the book. This is how we should answer. Understood, sir? So, I am sorry. Why did I write I haven't here? Why didn't I write I can't? I didn't. Because in the question, what is the helping verb? Have is the helping verb. So, whatever is the question beginning with, you can put the same verb here with a negative one, not. Okay. Now, let us try the second one. What is the second question, sir? Can you carry this bucket for me, please? Somebody is asking us, can you carry this bucket for me, please? What is the helping verb here? Can. Then what do we have to do? We have to make an excuse. We are not doing it. How will you excuse? You can use any of these things. I am sorry, I can't carry this bucket for you. Or you can say, I'm afraid. I'm afraid does not mean I'm afraid, I'm panic stricken. No. See, when you don't want to hurt someone for denying, for not doing something, you can say, I'm afraid. Okay. For example, your favorite team is losing the match. Your father comes and asks, hey, how is your team doing? Then you can't tell that my team is losing. You can say, I'm afraid my team will lose. See, I'm afraid is a polite expression. Okay. Here also you can say, I'm afraid I can't carry the bucket for you. I'm sorry, but I can't carry the bucket for you. Forgive me, but I can't carry the bucket for you. You can tell any of the things. I'm afraid, but I can't carry the, I'm afraid I can't carry the bucket for you. Forgive me, but I can't carry the bucket for you. Next question. Can you please help me with my homework? Now again, the third question. What is it starting with? Look at this. Can you please? What is the sentence beginning with? Can. So what do we have to write? I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't help you with your homework. My homework, no, your homework. I am sorry, but I can't help you with your homework. I am afraid I can't help you with your homework. Forgive me, but I can't help you with your homework. You can choose any of the things and write. Fourth one. Did you buy an ice cream for me? What is the helping verb here? Here the helping verb is, did you buy an ice cream for me? Did you buy an ice cream for me? What is the helping verb? Did. So what can you say, sir? I'm sorry, but I didn't. Many people say didn't. No, it is not didn't. It's didn't. Though you write it like this, you read it as didn't. Please, my dear friends, follow this. So, what is the helping verb? Did. So, what can we say? Did you buy an ice cream for me? I'm sorry, but I didn't buy an ice cream for you. I'm afraid I didn't buy an ice cream for you. Forgive me, but I didn't buy an ice cream for you. See, that's how we can answer. Can you come to my party on Sunday? What is the helping verb here? Can. So, what should we say? I'm sorry, but I can't come to the party on Saturday. I'm afraid I can't come to the party on Saturday. Forgive me, but I can't come to the party on Saturday. So, my dear students, now that we have finished our writing part, let us go to grammar. So, I hope you are all able to follow this simple grammar part, right? Now, shall we go to grammar? One important thing that I would like to tell is how you spell the word grammar. G-R-A-M-M-A-R. Now, if you might be thinking that, come on sir, who doesn't know the spelling of grammar? Please go and try with 5 people at least. Okay, 5 adult people. Ask them to spell the word grammar, then see how they spell. So, many of them spell ER, but it is not ER, it is AR. Always remember, grammar is AR. So, here read the following sentences. This story tells us about Helen Keller's first meeting with her teacher. I succeeded in making the letters correctly. This story will inspire many people to overcome challenges. In these 3 examples, you can find tells is pink in color and italicized. Succeeded in second sentence is in pink color and italicized. Will inspire is also pink in color and italicized. Now, what are these? These are verbs. The parts of speech of these words is they are verbs. Come on, my dear children, tell me how many parts of speech are there? There are 8 parts of speech. Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction and interjection. Among these 8 parts of speech, the words that are underlined and the words that are in pink color are verbs. What is a verb? A verb is a word that tells about an action or state. So, an action, what do you mean by action? Work. So, work always happens in time. Time can be divided into 3 categories. The time that is already, the time that passed away, the time that is happening now and the time that is yet to come. The time that is passed away. Yesterday is over. Today is present. Tomorrow is future. So, every verb will have a tense, is related with time. So, the first sentence tells us of the present time. So, how to know the verbs? Now, see sir, verbs have different forms. We have verb form 1, verb form 2, verb form 3, right? So, all the verbs, the basic verb forms are tell, then speak, right? Then we have eat. Then you can go on writing verbs like this: kick, Then what did Helen Keller do to the doll? Break. So these are called the basic forms of the verb. V1 is called as the basic form of the verb, or you can also call it as simple present. We can also call it as simple present. The verbs in simple present tense are in basic form, or sometimes they have the suffix of s or es. Sometimes they have, for example, tell becomes tells. Tell is also simple present tense. Tells also is also simple present tense. Speak is simple present tense. Speaks is also simple present tense. Eat is simple present tense. Eats is also simple present tense. Kick, simple present tense. Kicks is also simple present tense. Come on. Break is simple present tense. Breaks is also simple present tense. What is V2? If the action is performed, completed, then it is called past, right? What is that? Tell, already told. Then speak, spoke. Eat, ate. Kick, kicked. Break, broke. So this is present and simple present and past. Now how will we write future verbs? Very simple. All the basic verbs, if they are followed by will, tell, will speak, eat, will eat, kick, will kick, break, will break. Okay. So now we know how to change a verb in simple present to simple past and simple future. These are few examples, only 5 examples I gave. Shall we look into the textbook? We have many.